today's video, I'd just like to share that 94% of my viewers aren't subscribed. So if you are feeling generous, be sure to drop a like and a sub, and let's get right into today's video. Thank you. Howdy, I'm Daxio, and this is Plugged In News. And in today's Spin Update, we have U.S. officials quietly preparing for 350,000 to 400,000 migrant encounters at Mexico border in October, as well as Texas county votes to sue Biden over border crisis. Let's get right into that. And for the first story today, this is coming from thedailywire.com by Emily Zanotti, and it is U.S. officials quietly preparing to 350 to 400,000 migrant encounters at Mexico border in October. And this goes on to read, the Biden administration's Department of Homeland Security is quietly gearing up for a surge of 300 to 400,000 migrants in the month of October, according to a report from NBC News, and believes the border could see a huge influx of activity if the Title 42 COVID restriction on asylum lifts on Friday. Title 42, instituted during the Trump administration, allows the federal government to expel immigrants, including asylum seekers, back to their home country without a hearing over concerns that they could contribute to the spread of COVID-19. The Biden administration has kept Title 42 in force, but that could easily end as early as Friday after a federal judge ruled that COVID-19 restrictions put in place in March 2020 were no longer necessary. I'm pretty sure they are still necessary, considering we are in a pandemic. Anyways, it goes on to read, if Title 42 lifts, NBC News noted DHS believes it could see hundreds of thousands of asylum seekers at the border, easily surpassing the record of breaking numbers of migrants seen over the summer. On a call this week with Senior Department of Homeland Security, Official Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas asked whether the department was prepared for a worst-case scenario in which 350,000 to 400,000 migrants crossed the border in October, according to two DHS officials familiar with the conversation, NBC News reported. The two DHS officials stressed that the estimate is not based on internal intelligence or calculations, saying that it is meant to prepare for the agency for what could be an overwhelming number of migrants who, if a court order that lifts the COVID restriction known as Title 42 takes an effect at the end of the week, as is possible. Yeah, so basically Biden keeps taking away all the stuff that Trump has put in place, and this is what happens. I mean, Joe Biden said, if I become president, open borders. Now look what happens. Huge influx of people that may or may not be contributing to the spread of COVID-19. Is that really a good idea for our country? Probably not. And for the next story today, this kind of goes right right from the last story, which is Texas county votes to sue Biden over border crisis. Well, what do you know? And this is from the Post Millennial by Angelo Isidoro, and it goes on to read, a Texas county that has witnessed more than 30,000 migrants crossed this month alone is suing President Biden for his failure to enforce the law. According to Fox News, Val Verde County announced Tuesday night that it is joining neighboring counties to push the Biden administration to take action. We've talked about this immigration reform for as long as I can remember. Both parties have had control of Washington at one point or another over the past 20 years, and we have failed to do anything about it other than create a mess that we have today, Val Verde County Commissioner Bo Nelton said. It is inexcusable, he continued. Nelton calls on other counties to join Val Verde in seeking a resolution to poor U.S. immigration policies, currently causing the most significant influx of migrants at the southern border in more than 20 years. For context, the U.S. Customs Border and Border Protection have reported more than 1.5 million illegal border crossings, which we already know. Again, Joe Biden says open borders. Guess who's going to come? People who want to come out of those very bad countries that they are currently in and come to a somewhat better country. It's not looking that way. And it goes on to read, I don't have the answer as whether a lawsuit solves this problem, but it draws attention to the problem, Nettleton said. They took the same oath of the office that I did, which was to uphold the Constitution. They need to comply with that oath and do their job and stop this mess. And yeah, they haven't been doing their job for the past 20 years. We have no actual border reforms. Our politics is too political. Everyone's on one side or the other, and they're like, we can't do this, we can't do this. We need to help our country, period. So if putting up a border wall and having more border security and not allowing people to come in is what we need to do, then that is what we need to do. And if Joe Biden needs to tell these people to go home because he's the one who invited them, then that's what he needs to do. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy it, drop a like, drop a sub down below, drop a comment, let me know how I'm doing, let me know what I can do to improve, and thanks for staying plugged in. Peace out, crew.